Hey guys, so I want to cover the M&P series pistol here. So I want to apologize real quick because the my voice might not match up quite perfectly with the video because video recorded and audio didn't. So anyways, I want to talk about a couple flaws, especially in the Gen 1 pistol, but let's first clear this pistol. So as you see, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine well. Okay, so we are clear. So anyways, the M&P series pistol, especially Generation 1, at this point you can generally find them for a pretty good price. Some of the early M&P series had a couple little issues, but by and large they've all been fixed by now, especially, you know, their quality control has improved tremendously. I mean, they're excellent pistols, no magazine issues, anything like that. Just a good pistol for the money. They compete right with Glocks, which not many guns do function within that realm of that high reliability, especially across the whole entire series. I mean, even if you look at Glocks today, they have a lot of issues. Like look at their 22 caliber, the G44. You know, they've had some issues here and there. So, at any rate, back to the pistol itself. Um, Functions reliably, everything like that. Everything's good. The finish is good. Finish is good overall on the gun. Sights are fine from the factory. They're not plastic. No issues there. However, the trigger is absolutely horrible. So what I'm planning to do here is I'm going to be installing this Apex curved polymer forward set sear and trigger kit. Um, and what that's going to do is eliminate some of this nastiness. So when you start to shoot at further distances, having a at least suitable combat trigger is very important. So you don't need to have some kind of light trigger in any kind of let's say combat or duty self-defense pistol. We want somewhere around that 6 pound trigger. I can tell you this one I got this gun for $300 out the door. It's pretty much brand new. It was used, but I'm assuming the guy that bought the gun, he probably shot it, probably hated how he was hitting, and probably decided to trade it in. So his loss is my gain. So I went ahead. I ordered a set of night vision sights for this because the factory sights are fine, but the night vision is, in my opinion, the gold standard when it comes to an all-around uh, best sight out there. And I've tested a lot of different sights. Now, if you want to go red dot, okay, that's fine. But I'm still a purist a little bit. I do really enjoy my iron sights. So at any rate, let's get into the trigger itself. So the biggest issue that I have is with this trigger. Um, it has these two nasty walls, and then you have to continue to pull and pull and pull, and it feels like a 10 or 11 pound trigger. Okay, so I don't know exactly what it is because I do not have an actual um, trigger gauge, right? So I'm just, if you look out there, there's a lot of information that says they're around 8.5 pounds, but I've just from what I've seen, just from different students coming to my classes, I am a firearms instructor, so just from seeing and feeling other people's pistols, especially these Gen 1s, I felt some that felt really uh, poor. And case in point, I did have a student here last well, a couple classes ago, and his trigger was just very gritty, completely different from mine. Mine feels terrible, so does his. They just feel terrible in different ways. So we want to fix that because he was doing well at close range when we were doing our basic 7 yards, you know. But that's no good when we start backing up to 20-25 yards. If you have to ever, God forbid, protect yourself with a pistol, then just having a trigger that's not going to sorry, I dropped the dropped the gun there. if you if you have a trigger that bad, that's gonna just prevent you from shooting decent. I mean, it's terrible. So let's look at this trigger. So as I said, there's that first wall. Okay, so there's a little bit of take up. Let's watch. Okay, you hit a wall, is that wall, right? Then you see how the trigger kind of skipped. That's the second wall. So you pull, then it you hit that second wall, and then you continue to pull, 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 and finally releases. And like I said, I don't know what it is, but it feels just unacceptable. I mean, it's terrible. And I've shot a lot of pistols. I mean, you have to be able to be good with your factory trigger, but this is just terrible. Okay, now here's our reset. Now, did you see how my finger jumped when it finally got to the reset? As slow and even as I can try to push my finger forward, it doesn't matter. I still that it just absolutely pushes my finger forward right as you hit that reset. It's terrible. It's not very tactile or audible. And then you get back on your wall, and then you still have to continue and pull and pull and pull in order to get back into that. I'm sorry, so you can get your trigger to finally fire. Just terrible, unacceptable. And what we're going to do is we're going to fix that right now. So let's go ahead. We'll get this torn down. I'm not going to do an install video just because there's so many videos out there on it already. And there's no need for me to repeat it. So let's get into that. Alright guys, I got this Apex Curve Polymer Forward Set Sear Trigger Kit installed, and let's get into it. So, in the words of Ben Stiller from Starsky and Hutch, do it, do it. If you have a Gen 1 M&P, and you got that stock trigger, get rid of that garbage and put this in. This is what should come from the factory. It got rid of all that nonsense and has made this a pistol that I'm really excited to get out on the range and shoot. So, as you recall, I had those two walls. The second wall, you kind of skipped from the front to the second wall. It was like I pull as smoothly as I could. It still would like jump, and then you had to continue pull till it finally released. Hard trigger pull was not smooth, and when you're let's just talk real quick about fundamentals and stuff like that. If you don't have your fundamentals down, it doesn't matter how good the trigger is. It doesn't matter how many Gucci things you have on your gun. It's not going to make you shoot better. You have to have your fundamentals hammered down. But bottom line is, some triggers are just terrible, and at distance, even a good shooter is going to have a really tough time getting consistent shots, especially under duress, especially quickly in the realistic realm of combat accuracy. So don't think that a pistol is just going to make you shoot better. You have to get the training. You need to do, dry fire. You need to really just train with your pistol to get good with it. But if you have a Gen 1 M&P, you need that trigger. And they have a couple different variations for different, series guns and stuff. But this is the one that I installed. This is the Polymer because it was like $100. I didn't want to spend extra money for aluminum. There's no need for it to be aluminum when the Polymer triggers work fine. I like that it got rid of that split trigger that comes on it, and this is more like a Glock trigger with this your little drop safety right here, right? So at any rate, let's just ghost this trigger real quick. I am still clear. Yes, my finger's been on the trigger the whole time, but I knew it's clear. I cleared it, and you guys can just deal with it. But yes, you should be taking it seriously. And if you thought that, then I'm glad you did. So at any rate, now that you know I'm clear, we're going to watch this short take up, and boom. Okay, let's run that one more time. Short trigger take up. See that? And boom. It's about a 5.5, 6 pound trigger pull from my perspective. Yes, I don't have a gauge, so I don't know for sure, but from my experience, that's what it feels like. It feels excellent. Smooth trigger release. So now I'm gonna hold it back. We're gonna rack it, and then we're gonna look at a reset. Racked it. Here's our reset. Okay, short reset. Boom. So Just being honest, I wish it was a little bit more tactile and audible, the reset itself. Um, just because that for me is like the standard, very, very tactile, very, a little bit louder reset. But is it going to make me that much of a difference shooting? Nah, probably not realistically. But reset is short. It does not, if you recall, the factory trigger, no matter how hard I tried to fight it and I just tried to release slowly, as I got to the reset, it would push my finger forward. And so between the factory trigger where you had that wall where it would kind of skip, right, and then you had the reset where it would push your finger out. Well, when we're trying to get into controlled pairs, any kind of cadence drills or anything like that, it just makes it really hard to shoot consistently and accurately. So, especially at distance, yes, a good shooter with good fundamentals can overcome a lot, but realistically, man, this will absolutely make you shoot better with it. So, I did opt for, there's two springs that come with it. One is a green return spring, which they consider the heavy duty. Then there's a silver one, which is what they consider the duty slash carry return spring. And that's the one I opted for. It feels perfect. The trigger is not too light. It's not too heavy. Said everything about it is excellent. It's how this gun should come from the factory. Yeah, the reset could be a little bit louder and a little more tactile, but honestly, I'm very excited to get this to the range because I think my shot splits are going to decrease in time, and my accuracy, my groups are really going to be able to tighten up. So I was able to keep a pretty tight group at close range. But I had to slow it down in comparison to, like, let's say my compact 2.0. The 2.0 triggers are better than the Gen 1s. So it's just how it is, but I could still shoot, accurate enough for combat accuracy, but at distance it was really hard, especially doing one-handed shooting. Now I feel like I'm going to really outshoot my compact 2.0. We'll have to see, because I know they made a couple improvements on the 2.0 in general. I mean, obviously the grip's different and stuff like that, but I really do like the feel of this gun, and I like the recoil of it before. I mean, it was obviously it's a 9mm, it's not much recoil, but the recoil impulse felt great to me. The pointability, the angle of the grip for me is perfect. I like it a lot, and and honestly, just the shape overall of this grip, this is a more rubberized, where the 2.0 is a very coarse, like sandpaper kind of grip, which absolutely helps you lock the gun in when your hand's sweaty. So, um, yeah, there's differences between the two, but I really think with this being a full grip and now having this trigger, I think I'm going to be an animal with it. So, really excited to check that out. So, if you have any questions, just let me know. Hope this was helpful. I hope this will, maybe push you down that path to finally spend that money if you've got a gun like this. So if you have a compact 2.0, just shoot it more because for me mine smoothed out. But man, I know at least one of my students, give a little shout out to Caleb. His trigger was even worse than mine on this. It was weird. Both Gen 1, both 9mm, like same model and everything. But his trigger was very gritty and a lot different. Like, just the walls were different than what mine was. So it's kind of weird how that could be so different between two factory pistols. But I'm hoping he'll go and get this because it's hard for me as an instructor to watch a student who's really doing everything right, um, and then he starts struggling at distance because the trigger is that bad. And I was able to shoot it and get some shots with it, but with having a decent trigger, I mean, he's gonna improve so much at distance. And just like I said, it's hard for me to watch because I'm trying to be supportive. We have to push each student so that you get better. I mean, I can't just not try to push you because you're never going to get any better. You're going to plateau. But Caleb, if you're watching this, go get that trigger, man. You're gonna really enjoy the benefits of it. You're gonna shoot a lot better, and hopefully anyone else out there that has a trigger like this, it'll, like I said, hopefully it'll help you get down that path making that upgrade. It's super easy to do. Take it to a gunsmith though if you're not comfortable. Don't even screw around. A gunsmith's going to probably charge you $30 to install it.